Hey, welcome back to the workshop. For today's project, I'm going to try to clean up and restore this old Mora knife. Okay, side rant time. What I'm doing here is not actually restoration. I understand that there's a lot of channels on YouTube now that claim to be doing restoration, and what they're doing isn't restoration either.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Restoration is a very specific process done by museum curators, and it's done with an eye towards preserving the historical value of the artifact. I'm not doing that here at all. What I'm doing is taking a tool that's become so rusty it can't be used anymore and cleaning it up to the point where I can put it back into service and once again make it a working tool. I wouldn't call that restoration. That's more like cleaning up. Maybe we need a fancy $10 word for cleaning things up and putting them back into service, but I don't know what that is. Anyway, back to the video. So the other day, I picked up this rusty old Swedish Mora knife at an Antique Mall. I think I paid $18 for it. What's interesting about this knife is that it isn't made by the Mora Kniv company as we know them today, but is instead stamped Bröderna Jönsson, Mora, Sweden. And if my poorly researched internet information is correct, this knife could date back to as early as 1936, or it could be as late as the early 2000s. But because this knife came with a red plastic sheath, I believe that puts the probable manufacture date sometime after World War II. While Bröderna Jönsson Mora knives were never imported into the United States in large numbers, from what I can look up, it looks like this knife was brought here and marketed as the Norse King sometime in the 1960s. The history of Swedish knives and the numerous Mora knife companies is pretty detailed. I may have to make a separate video on that topic later on. Anyway, this knife has got rust spotting all over the blade, the edge is chipped, and the handle looks like it was varnished, and now the varnish is biodegrading or something. But with the help of a little sandpaper and a little elbow grease, I think there's still plenty of life left in this old knife. We just have to dig in and get it out. Originally, I had hoped to bring this knife back up to its original factory brushed finish. But after getting the surface rust off, I can see that there is pretty significant pitting in this blade. Removing the pitting would require me to sand away a significant amount of metal. In this case, I don't want to do that because 1, it would be a ton of work to do by hand with no belt sander, and 2, I feel like it would ruin the story of the knife. This knife is full of pits and rust and damage because it's lived a hard life. Maybe the previous owner skinned deer with it, or gutted fish, or carved wood next to 100 campfires. Probably a combination of all of those things. Either way, this knife has seen some shit, and that story is told in the wear marks. I don't want to completely erase that story. I just want to clean things up so that this knife can be used again. So I tried Watco Danish oil for the first time ever, and I have to say that for this project, I don't like it. This stuff soaks into the knife handle and it's just gone. It doesn't build up a finish like I was hoping. Maybe I just didn't use enough, but I think in the end I put on 4 coats and basically got nowhere. In the end, I went back to my Minwax tongue oil finish like I've used in the past. Maybe I'm missing the point of Danish oil. I don't know. If anybody who watches this video happens to be an expert on Watco Danish oil finish, please let me know what I'm missing in the comments below. Now we come to my favorite part of the process, sharpening. And let me confront the 900-pound gorilla in the room right now. Yes, I know my stone isn't flat. This is deliberate. These King brand stones wear out so quickly that if I flattened it every time I used it, this stone wouldn't last me a week. I sharpen a lot of stuff, and I reprofile a lot of edges. That kind of work is hard on water stones, and that's just the way it is. If this were a fancy Japanese chef knife with their chisel grinds and other features, maybe having a flat stone would be more important. But lucky for me, this ain't that kind of knife. So I'm here to tell you that for this kind of sharpening, having a flat stone really doesn't matter all that much. In the end, the knife is going to be very sharp, and everything's going to work out just fine. You'll see. Alright, so at this point, I've cleaned up the edge on the 220 and 250 grit water stones, then polished as far as I feel like going with the 1000 grit, which I somehow forgot to film. This has taken all of the chips out of the blade, and the edge is already pretty damn sharp. But I like a slightly more polished edge on my knives if I can get it. I feel like a polished edge cuts better and holds up longer. And also, I think it looks cool. Ideally, this would be done with more water stones going up to the multiple thousands of grits. But I don't have any of those with me here right now, so I'm going to have to make do with what I've got. I'm going to burnish the edge with the fine stone from my Spyderco Sharp Maker, then the sapphire stone from my Lansky kit, and then finally the Lansky leather strop thing, which has been loaded with a black, heavy cleaning polishing compound. Okay, well, I think that's about as good as that's going to get for now. I'm going to call this knife ready to return to service as a useful working tool. This knife can once again fulfill the purpose for which it was made. Sure, it's not as smoothly polished as it was when it was new, but that really doesn't matter as long as the edge is clean and sharp. I think the only thing to do now is a little cut test. Man, now that's a sharp knife. Alright, well, I think that's about as cleaned up as it's going to get. I know that maybe this doesn't meet the popular internet criteria for restoring a knife, but as far as I'm concerned, I've taken a rusted out piece of crap and turned it back into a useful working tool, and that's good enough for me. So I hope you found that interesting. And I'll be right back here in the workshop with another video just as soon as I can. See you then.